Hello, my name is Msgr Barr, and I'm the Catholic Storyteller. And the question today is, do Catholics re-sacrifice Christ on the altar when they have Mass? Now that's a question that both Protestants and Catholics might be interested in, but Protestants especially, because they often accuse Catholics of re-sacrificing Christ. And that's just not true. The answer to this question is a clear and definitive no. We do not re-sacrifice Christ on the altar when we have Mass. What happens is that the one sacrifice of Christ that occurred 2,000 years ago is made present on the altar when we have Mass. Now, how does that happen? Well, that's really kind of cool, so let me explain it. We're going to use a little bit of sci-fi language because I think that helps us understand how this exactly happens. Now, if you go into a Catholic church, you'll notice that the altar is raised a little bit above the congregation. There are steps to it. That's because the altar represents a thin place, a place where the supernatural and the natural can mix and interact. So what happens at a Mass? Well, first of all, you have a priest. Now, the priest is not a priest in himself. He holds the one priesthood of Jesus Christ. So there's only one priest, and that's Jesus. But priests in the Roman Catholic Church share that priesthood with Jesus and act in persona Christi, in his person. So what happens at the altar is that the priest asks the Father, God the Father, to send his Son and enable us to experience him by changing the bread and wine into the body and blood of Christ, the actual body and blood of Christ. Now remember, that body and blood of Christ is the glorified and resurrected body and blood of Christ, okay? But it's the real presence. And it's almost like the altar becomes a transportal portal. I think that's how I would say it, a transporter portal. There it goes. And we are able to enter into that eternal sacrifice that Jesus has for us. You know, when we say that Jesus ascended into heaven and sits at the right hand of the Father, this is what we mean. His eternal sacrifice on the cross continues. It goes on. Because, you know, the way a sacrifice works is that you have to be touched in some way, physically, by the sacrifice. And that happens for Catholics when they eat the body and blood of Christ in the Eucharist. It becomes the way that we participate in the salvation that Jesus Christ gives us. Now, some Protestants may not like that, but that is the way the Church has functioned for 2,000 years. The majority of Christians have believed that Jesus is really present in the Eucharist. And what happens on the altar is that the one sacrifice of Christ is made present so that we can participate in it. And that's the beauty of the Mass. That's how we encounter the divine. No other religion has such an intimate and close connection with God as the Eucharist provides Christians. So think about that a little bit. And remember, if you oppose this teaching, you're going to have to debunk the preaching and teaching of all the great fathers of the Church and the saints in 2,000 years of Christian tradition. Jesus Christ is really present in the Eucharist. We really get to experience the effects of his sacrifice on the cross by participating in the Mass. What a glorious thing Jesus has given us, a sacrament that enables us to encounter the Trinity in our lives today. And I'm the Catholic Storyteller, Msgr Barr, wishing you a good day, a wonderful day, a God-blessed day. Thank you, and goodbye.